Hello again. Moonlighter is a game where you explore dungeons and reduce any foe you meet into their base components. Then you sell those components in your very own shop. Have you ever wanted to sell bomb detonators to anyone who could afford it? Because everyone can. If you're looking for that in a video game, then I would recommend that you play something else. For have you heard of the concept of a routine? It's enough to drive anyone mad eventually. Here's how your day's gonna go. Dungeon, sell, upgrade, dungeon, sell, upgrade, dungeon. You're going to repeat that grind set until you become Jeff Bezos. The premise of the game is that you're a shopkeeper named Will who owns a store, the only store, called the Moonlighter. Your main method of profit is to go into the local dungeons and relocate resources. You then sell those resources for profit so you can repeat the cycle. If for some bizarre reason you like that repetition, allow me to explain it more. In order for me to do that, I need to cosplay as a CEO, an outstanding individual who cares for his customers and his employees. One that is not cutthroat or cuts any corners. A true paragon of virtue. Maybe one day you'll understand what I mean. How the fighting and looting works. When you beat an enemy, they drop materials. You can either craft with it or sell it. But initially, you don't know the price of the item. Yes, despite working as a merchant for God knows how long, you don't know the price of anything. And yet the customers know. If you die in a dungeon, you lose most of it. So you either have to use your eject button or beat the dungeon. Beating the dungeon is the more lucrative option because you get rewarded with a better dungeon that gives you more profit and it advances the story. The actual fighting of creatures is pretty bad. They recommend a controller, but a keyboard is also cool. Neither of them are perfect solutions because while you can run and roll in 8 perfectly fine directions, you can only attack in 4, which fine, you can adapt, but everyone has super armor including you. So a lot of the time it's just you trading hits with each other, and the only real way to put you out of your misery is death. And to make it much worse, the hitboxes are either insanely accurate or... So while you're out there gathering materials, you'll be also gathering trust issues. To combat this, you can cheese the game with 5 weapons. You got sword, big sword, spear, bow, and punch things. Are they good when they're used properly? Probably. But, just like everyone, I take the path of least resistance, which in this case is a circle, like the game. I spin the wind. If an enemy gets too close, they might die. If they don't, they get knocked back, and I charge up another. If they try to hit me, I hit them with immunity frames, and this still pales in comparison to the bow. But you're probably smart, and you think there's another way to diversify your build. Why, yes there is. But they change your gameplay so very little that you just might not notice. You just might forget that you equip some. And the only way that you can tell is that there's 2 circles on your health bars. If you're expecting something that will change the weapon you're gonna use, no you're not. They do a lot of stat exchanges, they do a lot of stats immunities, which is only good for like a dungeon. Sacrifice 20% of your attack damage so you can heal 2% of it back. I'm no game designer here, but health comes in surplus. The damage that you lose is way more important. The best one's Defense Ring because it's just your standard revive. And familiars are not much better. They all do damage based on your damage, 20%. Regardless of which one you pick, you're still the primary damage dealer. And it doesn't matter what utility you bring, for the Mimic is better. You don't get any backpack upgrades the entire game, so the Mimic more than doubles your money and material gain. You know, the way that you get stronger and richer. I don't have anything against Moonlighter, it's an okay game. If this was your first video game ever, then yeah, maybe you can purchase this. You just haven't had a taste of a great game yet. But I assume, unless YouTube recommended me to you for some reason, hello if that's the case, that you have $20 to $25 of disposable income. You wanted to see if the game is good. You have several games in your cart, but you can only pick one. And you have played video games before. In that scenario, you don't want the okay game, you want the great game. Do you want to play an action RPG where the action part is bad? Do you want to play a game with the bare minimum roguelike elements? How about running a shop where the action part is mandatory? That's Moonlighter for you. A primary example of why you should just focus on one thing. There's just so many better options. In my honest opinion, it's just Stardew Valley mining, but you forgot to bring a pickaxe. The shopping aspect is the little brother that gets ignored by the parents. Just look at the Steam trailer for this. It gets like one scene when the dungeons get the rest. The merchant part merely existed for the Kickstarter. They promised you the true Walmart experience. What they didn't tell you is that It's the day after Christmas. Nobody is coming, at least consistently. You're gonna sit at your register and clean it about 40 times. They were so confident that they allow you to skip it. The little brother is okay, but if the dungeon part of the game is anything to go by, it might change with experience. All customers have 4 expressions based on the price of the item. They will either think that this deal is fair, get frustrated but still purchase, get frustrated and look for something else, get pissed. Think this deal is a steal, not to be confused with the ones that steal your stuff. The thief is one of 4 special customers that shows up. They try to steal an item, run away, but you can beat them up, which is pretty fun. Certainly can't do that at Walmart. Then you got the hero, who looks for weapons, armors, and potions. Ignore him. Due to the blacksmith fee and the material costs, it's inefficient if you're building weapons from scratch. The way of actually gaining profit is to encourage recycling. Do some grave robbing. The rich guy is rich. You will bleed him dry just like everyone else, because we believe in taking too much of your money equally. These guys are not much different from the regular customer. They just pay a higher price for things, which sounds good, but you can just force everyone to pay up more, because the concept of having limited money does not exist. Because Will is powerful, his furniture is powerful. The mechanic of the shop is that you can place down pieces of furniture that affects the whole shop. Do you want more rich people in your shop? Do you want to scare people into tipping you more because you have a bowl of fruit? How about slowing down the flow of time? A lot of corporations would kill for this type of technology. I just kind of use all the furniture that makes the customers tip me more, because they pay me double and I don't have to lift a finger. Getting more rich people is good and all, but I would have to change the price like Mr. Krabs every time the guy looks at something, and then change the price back to the original price. Otherwise, the popularity takes a hit. You've got quests that you will also ignore because you have to come in precisely 3 days later to complete the order. You can't get your overworked employees to do same-day shipping. They may also request stuff that takes up room in your inventory, as in they now exist because you took the quest. They sometimes also want you to visit a previous dungeon, which is just inefficient in general. Most of the time it's better to deny them because the formula is money over time. It's the same reason why you don't go after rich people, why you ignore quests, because even if they do give you more money, the immediate value that you gain from just selling the raw materials is better, because you just being stronger means you can bring more profit back. Since I'm talking from a pure efficiency standpoint, look up the actual prices on the wiki. I didn't for my playthrough, and half of my footage is just me sitting there waiting for the customer to pick something. You could argue that it's the sense of discovery, but I would counter argue, proclaiming you can reach the same solution by just knowing the price, because at least then you'll be like, darn, that's an expensive item. I should look for more of these, and then use the game's other mechanics to bring it back home before I die. But no, I have to sit here with a slow hive mind vendor known as the town's populace. Despite all that, I finished the game and the DLC. So do you want to talk about the DLC and the story? I would say spoilers, but you're not missing out on much. To give some context to the DLC, we need to talk about the story. A very long time ago, people found the 4 dungeons. There was glory to be found and money to be made. So much so, a village was made near it. Over the years, the dungeons claimed more and more lives because they never really learned out of pride and their own greed. There was so much death that 3 of the 4 dungeons were barred from entry. Along came Will, who woke up and chose capitalism. You control him, and a teenager did what everyone else couldn't: kill the bosses and not die. Everything between when you start and end does not matter. It's just the old man yelling at you for being reckless. Did you know you had a childhood friend? Anyways, you beat all the bosses, take their keys, and venture into the 5th dungeon. I lied about being a fantasy capitalism game. It's a sci-fi capitalism game. Those 4 cultures that you're running through were just dimensions made up by some goop creatures for profit. Yes, for all this time, for several generations, we've been using this mob farm for profit. And honestly, that's a pretty cool twist. Also, it's illegal, which is why the dimensional pirates were hiding behind the 5th door. The final boss is the last dimensional pirate. He fuses with the machine and you destroy both of them. The ICT, or the space police, comes and makes whatever you're doing legal now. Fast forward 3 months, a new portal appears and they want you to investigate, starting the DLC. If you actually liked Moonlighter, this is just more of that. It doesn't really expand or improve anything, it only extends. It gives you 6 bosses, a brand new dungeon, a new set of weapons and armor, trick weapons that you'll not use, and a Roomba. The final boss is the Wanderer, you fight it, and the ICT guy gives you a weapon you won't use. That's the content patch that they sold you for DLC. It's just there, and beyond the main campaign, you can do New Game Plus if you want. I don't know why. That will be all for now. If you're bored and you still want to play Moonlighter for some reason, at least wait for a sale. And I know I've been gone for a little while, so I just have 4 other videos ready. And I would like to thank you for participating in my TED Talk on why your favorite game is mid. Subscribe for more.